Hey, this is a video for Molecules.2, so go ahead and check out the essential vocabulary, set up your guided notes, and look at the aim. Compare and contrast synthesis and digestion. So before we begin, we have to discuss what is a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction, and you should write this in your notes. Chemical reaction is going to have inputs and outputs. Now you'll notice the inputs and the outputs are separated by this arrow. So a chemical reaction, a chemical equation, a graphical representation of chemistry basically, is going to have this arrow in it. And that separates the inputs, the stuff going in, from the outputs, the stuff or the substances coming out. Now these can be atoms or they can be molecules. Like for example, it could be calcium, it could be oxygen, it could be water, it could be carbon dioxide. Another way of showing it is by writing graphically what's happening. You have the substances moving in. In addition to an input, these are also known as reactants. Sometimes you might see them drawn or written as an input, sometimes it's a reactant. So we have two types of reactants going in, and the other ones coming out are the products. They are produced. Okay, so the inputs are the reactants, the outputs are the products. Now we have two types of reactions. The first one is a synthesis reaction. Syn means together. So synthesis, or when you synthesize something, it is put together. Notice you have your monomers joining together to form one large polymer. Now the opposite reaction is a digestion reaction. That's when you have something larger, like this polymer right here, that is broken down into smaller components, or these monomers. So digestion, just like your digestive system, things are broken down. So reactions can't just run on their own. They need a little bit of help. So for these reactions to occur, synthesis needs a little bit of glue to put them together. And the digestion needs something like a scissors to cut them apart. So this isn't just going to happen automatically. What the cells use are substances or specific proteins called enzymes. An enzyme is a specialized protein that acts as a catalyst in a reaction. That word catalyst, you might see it. It just means that it speeds up a reaction. It's something that helps a reaction along without actually being consumed. But what you really need to know is enzymes are biological scissors and glue. They put things together, they take things apart. Okay, so this represents an enzyme where you'll take your reactants and you will put them into products. All right, the enzymes is usually written, if it's put into the chemical formula or chemical equation, it is written on top of the arrow. So this is a GIF that I made showing what happens with enzymes. So if you look at the one on the top, if you notice these pieces come in separate and they're glued together, making the purple one. The opposite applies down here. You have the purple one going in, being cut apart into its monomers. So this represents a synthesis reaction because it's going together, and on the bottom this represents a digestion reaction because it is being broken apart. So what I would like you to say is, or answer in your notes, why are enzymes important for an organism to function properly? A lysosome. That is this little structure right here inside of the cell. It is a structure in animal cells that breaks down cell parts, invaders, and wastes for disposal. So you can imagine lysosomes have lots of enzymes present because they need to break down these molecules. So what I want you to think about is you have these molecules like glucose, like carbon dioxide, like water, like amino acids. You need to break them down first because we're not just taking this glucose and using it as glucose. Like, we have to break it down. So we're getting a whole bunch of these just subunits, these atoms. We're getting carbon atoms, we're getting oxygen atoms, we're getting nitrogen and hydrogen. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reconstruct them into something else using different enzymes. Like, for example, this is ATP. We're going to talk about ATP a lot during this year, but ATP, we don't take ATP in, we make ATP, but we have to recycle the materials that we are taking in, and that requires enzymes. So what I would like you to do is respond to the check for understanding by answering the aim. Compare and contrast synthesis and digestion. And then what I would like you to do is complete practice problem set 2. I hope that this video was informative. I thank you for your attention, and I will see you soon.